Good morning, gorgeous souls. The sun is shining away, and I am popping on here to do the Soul Wealth show, which happens live every Tuesday inside our private group at 8:30 a.m. UK. I also put this video on YouTube, so hello to you if you are watching the replay on YouTube or in our private group. So lovely to have you join me. I'm going to be talking today about self-sabotage, which is something that is so close to my heart because I've been on such a journey with self-sabotage, as I'm sure many of you have and can resonate on. You know, if you're on an alcohol freedom journey, a sugar freedom journey, a cigarette freedom journey, whatever the thing is that is your vice, your habit, your cycle, your pattern, the thing that you're wanting to leave and really step into, you know, your power, your freedom, conscious, intentional living, which is really what I'm all about, just helping people to really break these patterns, really feel empowered, lead from that heart-led, soul-led space, and infuse all of our different life areas with who we really are, just really tapping into the abundance, the real soul wealth. Soul wealth is health in every life area. Now, before I speak about self-sabotage, I have a couple of quick announcements to make, and the first one, actually I've got 3 announcements I'm going to make. So the first one is my big exciting news. If you haven't heard, I have recently qualified as a soul energetics practitioner, which I am just so excited about. So for the last 6 months, I've been doing a really in-depth training. I sat a really long exam with 88 questions and really going into the depths of soul energetics and what that's all about. And what this has done is this has enabled me to go deeper into my own alcohol, sugar freedom, soul wellness journey, because it's everything, really going to those finding out who I am at that soul level, learning about the soul energetics, human design, numerology, advanced energy healing, experiencing all of that, learning about it, and then I'm now able to help people in that way as well. And so I'm going to be bringing this into the wellness tree. These have been the missing pieces. So I've got some offers coming up, some things I'm going to be putting out there, and ways in which, if you're curious to learn more about that, you will definitely be able to do that. Second announcement is we are supposedly having our free Soul Wealth Challenge next week. What I'm going to do is I am going to move the date. I'm going to move the date to sometime in September, purely because so many people aren't able to make it. They're away, they're busy, they're on holiday. It's that time. And also I think when, you know, we want to do something like this, it's much easier to get back on track when we're back in our ordinary rhythms and cycles. So September, kids go back to school, we may go back to kind of our businesses or work or whatever that is. It's a much easier time of year. So I'm going to move it into September and I will let you know the dates. And third announcement is trumpet sounds, drums banging. I am so excited to announce my brand new membership group, the Soul Wealth Circle. Now this is specifically for our sisters who really want to come together to work specifically on alcohol and sugar freedom, which has been my own journey. And we're going to be focusing on this using the wellness tree. It's a really affordable membership group. There's so much in there. I've been posting about it. I'll continue to pop posts out there. If you love the details, just send me a private message. Okay, I'm getting rather warm in here because I've had to shut the window and it's getting warm. So just bear with me if I look hot and sweaty. I'm sorry. Okay, gorgeous souls, we're going to talk about self-sabotage, and I'm just going to share with you my thoughts and feelings on it and some of the journey I've had with that. And I really want, my intention for this is to help shift you. If you are currently in unhealthy cycles, patterns, you're noticing that you're repeating the same thing. Let's take drinking for an example. Maybe it's reaching for that bottle of wine every night, or sugar, numbing out, squashing, abandoning ourselves. And you've got it all together on the outside, you know, professional, how we're showing up in our days, and then in the evenings, it feels like you've got some horrible, dirty secret. Feels like fun at all. At first, everybody's doing it, right? Everybody's doing it. And you feel bad maybe because you can't seem to stay in control, stay on top of things. But most of all, you are sick and tired of going around in circles, making empty promises. You know how you want things to be different. You know that maybe alcohol doesn't play a role in your life anymore, or even sugar or smoking or whatever the thing is. We all have something, even if it's just watching too much TV or scrolling on our phones. We're set up in this distractive world because, you know, they don't want us to be in touch with our power. And this is where the wellness tree supports us so beautifully, because we really want to focus on the root work, which is what I work with my clients, sinking our roots deep into the ground, really creating strong roots. So we're working through self-sabotage and we're feeling empowered, but this is a process, this is a journey, and we need tools for the nervous system. We need to know how to hold ourselves and nurture ourselves through this resilience building process. And then we can kind of bring that power up into our trunk and learn how to really connect in with our hearts and love and lead from that place of abundance ultimately, and spread that into the crown of our tree, into those different life areas. So then we are creating better connections with our loved ones, better relationships. We're creating more time, more self-care, more money. We're saving money. We're having a better relationship with money. We're showing up differently, more confident, more empowered. We're making really great choices. And we're different in our businesses. If we have a business or our work or career or whatever, we're just nicer to be around. And we're then showing up differently, vibrating differently, looking different. And we really want to shine. We want to shine, but maybe you have thoughts, beliefs, fears that are holding you back. Now, this is where self-sabotage comes into play. Now, self-sabotage is really controlled by our emotions. Have you ever noticed how maybe you've had you start the day with great intentions? Perhaps it's, I'm just not going to drink tonight, or I'm just going to have this little chocolate treat and that's it, or I'm not going to smoke today, that's it, I quit, I'm just going to be really present, I'm going to practice being present with my feelings and things like that. And you wake up and you're really determined to stay on track. But as the days go on, maybe you haven't yet learnt to have that regulation of the nervous system, to have some tools and support in place, and to really check in with how we're feeling very often throughout the day we need to be doing this. So we're keeping an eye on our energy and our mindset. And then you're giving all day, you're giving your time, your energy, your attention. You get to the end of the day, maybe you've had some challenging things going on, and you think, oh, I'm just absolutely exhausted. Like, oh, that glass of wine is calling me. It's like, I just want to numb, squash. Stress levels, cortisol is running riots, and you're like, give me that glass of wine now. Like, I'll start Monday. All the excuses come up. I'm tired. And then our brain can go on this kind of snowball loop with, oh, my friends are all drinking. Oh my gosh, I'm going out at the weekend. Or how am I supposed to do that sober? I've got that holiday coming up. This just feels like so much work. So we're really buying into the emotional piece here. Now just notice how expensive that is. It's taking our energy. Our energy is our currency. And think about all of the habits, all of the things that we need to do to really have high energy. We need to be consuming really high quality things like good quality food, nutritious food, stay hydrated, be careful what we listen to, who we interact with. There's a lot of work that we need to do to really take care of our energy. And so we have to really eliminate the things that don't feel good, the things that are taking in low vibe, etc., etc., and just be very conscious about who and what we have in our space. And then it's so much easier to, to start building the awareness of how we're feeling and what things, how we're reacting to what things, what people, what foods, and so on. So the excuses can really come up. Now, what's underneath these excuses? So for me, it was things like, when I realised that I really needed to stop drinking, I knew I wanted to, but I didn't want to. I felt like two different people. The same with sugar. It's fear of feeling discomfort, because our brains are wired for pleasure. It's going against everything, really, that we're kind of wired for. And it doesn't feel good. And so our brain, our whole nervous system is going to come on board and say, danger, danger. But there's no tigers running around. We're not going to be killed. We're not going to be eaten. So it's our job, our responsibility to train our brain, to train our nervous system. This is exactly what I support with clients. And you can do this too, and you can start finding the tools, the resources that resonate with you, because every nervous system is different. Some people like meditating, some people like journaling, some people like EFT, tapping, some people just love to have really high energy workouts. Some people love like havening, touch, techniques. There's so many different things out there. And if you do want a free resource, just send me a message. I've got tons of them. I'm quite happy to send something to you. So feeling discomfort is something that we have to train ourselves to feel. Now, in this moment here, I'm just going to put a little thing here to say, if you have traumas, if you have big emotions, big things that need extra support, definitely get some therapy or some counselling. We have to take responsibility and find what we need. But I just find, especially in the past, a journal has worked wonders. A journal where you can just write everything down, just brain dump everything. It works so well. We also, when we're in this discomfort, so we want to learn and we want to practice feeling discomfort, welcoming cravings, just noticing them, feeling them, letting them pass on through. So important that we acknowledge them. This is just energy and it just wants to be felt, and we just have to be that vessel to witness it, feel it, and let it move on through. But it feels unsafe. It feels unsafe, but it's not. It's not. And with the tools, with the support, we can really, really resource our nervous system. And what this does, this is part of the root work, this is really helping us to feel stronger, to feel more resilient, to really sink these roots into the ground. And then when we've created that foundation of safety, really inviting ourselves to relax into this, this opens us up. So we're not shrinking into the discomfort and feeling it and just closing ourselves off. We're actually doing the opposite. We're opening, we're relaxing, we're surrendering, almost thinking like water. And water, just letting it, that saying, like water off a duck's back? It's like that. And then we are more open to hearing those soul whispers, those soul desires. We start feeling more creative. And this is the journey. This is the journey. And then we start feeling empowered. We feel stronger, tapping into that inner strength. And realigning with love, like what would love do? Not what would fear do, shrink and stay small and not even bother and go back to these old self-sabotaging patterns. What would love do? What do I really need in this moment? What is the one smallest baby step I can take to get me closer to my goal today? Perhaps it's a really slow, kind, nurturing day. Perhaps it's a planning day. Let me make a new plan. Let me get ready for a fresh start, get back on track. Or perhaps it's I am on fire, I'm shining, I'm doing this, I'm done with all this old energy, these past patterns, I'm not available for that anymore. Let me step into this new, gorgeous, fresh energy. This is who I am now. This is who I am now, and then we can embody this. This is all what we're working on in our roots of the wellness tree. So we want to be growing, we want to be expanding, we want to be opening up. This comes from just noticing when the voice comes in before we do the self-sabotaging behavior. And this takes practice, this is awareness, and it could be you're going around the supermarket doing your shopping, suddenly you hit the wine aisle and you think, oh, it's the weekend, I could just buy some wine, I could start Monday, I can just sort my whole life out on Monday, I could just have this one last party for one. Now in that moment, yeah, you could go and buy the wine if you want, but just think about the consequences of your typical patterning. What normally happens? What do you know to be true? Or you could practice. You see, this is the most beautiful opportunity to practice. And yes, it feels uncomfortable, but it's an invitation from soul for you to grow. And it's like, I almost imagine soul, like if soul was a person looking down saying like, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Are you going to pull up your big person pants and get on with it and do it and commit and stay devoted? Now, I had 1,000 million day ones with my alcohol freedom journey and my sugar freedom journey. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I started my journey 8 years ago, And the last alcohol drink I had was about 4 years ago when I lost my dad very suddenly and unexpectedly. Sugar freedom, I tried going 100% sugar free, it didn't suit me, and now I'm working on just having a consciously kind of chosen something sugar. I stick to a plan, it's a real freedom plan, something that feels good to me every now and again. And it's a journey and it's not perfect, but I feel free. I don't have that. In fact, I can recognize when I have that, there is still that feeling inside of like, oh, I could just eat that whole pack of biscuits. Now, I wouldn't eat biscuits now. It's one of my things that I would never eat. But cake is something that I occasionally have, very occasionally. And I'm still playing with like, is it there? Is it not? I haven't decided. It's probably going because I see it as like, I have an unhealthy relationship with it. But this is the thing, we're all different. And I encourage you to really find what works. So knowing your particular drinks, foods, habits, objects, things, whatever that is for you, just knowing your typical patterns and stretching into the place where you can go and not going beyond that, because you know what would typically happen. And for you, that might just be a firm no. It might be like, no, I'm not drinking anymore because it's too hard to try and moderate, which is what it was for me. Or no, I'm just only eating fruit, or I'm just only having sugar at weekends, or whatever. There's no rules. And to be honest, I'm sick of rules. I'm sick of it. I tried to ban things and I had such an unhealthy relationship with things, and now for me freedom is just knowing it's feel-good rules that have been put in place, and it's not in a deprived, unhealthy way, but it's in an empowered way, and just really knowing what supports us, but you absolutely have to find your own way. And knowing that when you sit with the discomfort of the choice, right? Okay, I'm not going to have that wine, I'm not going to have that sugar, I'm not going to have that cigarette, but instead I'm going to choose insert new healthy thing. So really feeling like that, and then owning an empowered choice, an empowered decision, and then noticing how good you feel after. And the more that you practice this, the more that's adding to your bank, your healthy, wealthy bank. It's building your emotional resilience. It's giving to you energetically. It's making you feel so good about yourself. You're saving money. You can put that money to other things. You can either save it, you can invest it in your wellness journey, you can buy nicer food, nicer products, kinder things, organic things to really support you and the planet. You can invest in mentors, in coaches, in whatever the thing is. You know, I am such a junkie for learning and personal development and growth, and I love being coached. I love signing up with mentors. And it's sort of knowing the value in that, and just thinking like expansively as well. So the question to ask yourself in self-sabotaging moments, if you can practice with this question, who am I being? Who am I being? Am I being the old version of me? Has that crept in? Am I about to make a choice that's going to lead me to a typical pattern that I have repeated and wired into my brain? And that's okay, because that was a tool, that was a coping mechanism for something that I found really challenging. It could be something from childhood, and that's like me with sugar, that's just what was wired in. That's how I coped and I soothed. So am I being that old version? Or am I being the new version? I can step into the new version's shoes right now with a decision. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. And this is the new habit. This is just the way that we show up now. And what you'll find is one day you'll turn around and you'll think, I've just realised I haven't thought about alcohol. I haven't thought about sugar. I haven't thought about numbing out, squashing out. Maybe not in the extremes that we're used to. And this is a journey. And yeah, just noticing how good you feel when you come through this. Now, I am not perfect at this at all. This is a life's work for all of us. But what I found is practicing sitting with discomfort, going through the challenging things, it can almost be a game. You can almost like dare yourself to do it. I remember when I was standing in my kitchen 8 years ago, the last time that I finally promised to quit alcohol, and I thought, this is it, I've got to make these changes. And it was a sunny day. We'd been sitting out in the garden, and I came into the kitchen and I thought, oh, I would just love some wine right now. And it would have been so easy to just pop in the car, go down to the garage and go and buy some wine. That would really have been so easy. But suddenly in my brain popped this little voice that said, yeah, but you know that version of you, that's what you always do. And you don't know the version of you that just keeps going. And I thought, that's true. I don't know that version of me because I've never been in this position before. And I don't know if I can do it, but I could see the possibility. The only way I could do it is if I decided to do it and if I committed to do it and to keep going. And I got really curious and slightly excited, thinking I could really prove to myself that I can do hard things, that I can keep going. And I could show everyone that I can do it and make jaws drop and make people think, like, how is she doing that? I was hopeful that I could inspire other people to change as well if they really wanted to. And I knew in that moment it was a choice. Either go back, self-sabotage, keep spinning in the same cycle and stay there for however long I decided to stay there, or choose differently, make a cup of tea, have a nice alcohol-free drink, do something different. And in that moment, I chose to keep going. I thought, I'm just going to keep going. And here I am, almost 8 years later. Now, I have had a few drinking experiments in that time. The last one, as I said, was like 4 years ago. But they taught me so much. I'm all for having experiments, and I'm not encouraging you to go out and self-sabotage with whatever the thing is, but it doesn't make us wrong. We're human. And it's lessons, it's feedback. It's feedback, and I think every time we kind of wobble off track, fall off track, it's almost like we have this opportunity to tweak, to course correct. And this is why I love the Wellness Tree so much, because we have this lovely guidance available to us. If you don't know about the Wellness Tree and you would love to, learn more about that, in the guide section I actually have a free video series which takes you through the roots, and you can learn about that and you can start to really get to know your own Wellness Tree. And if you want support with that, if you want to come and work with me, then of course just send me a private message, because there's different options and things available. But what I will say is, it's a journey. And whatever the thing is that you are wanting to make changes with, whether it's alcohol, whether it's sugar, whether it's taking a break, whether it's, doing 100 days, conscious, mindful choices, whatever whatever it is, then absolutely do it, because all of these things will add up. It all adds to it. So in a nutshell, self-sabotage is something that we literally have to be aware of what is our emotional state in that moment. How are we as well? Are we tired? Are we angry? How are we feeling? Really checking in with ourselves, and what is the actual need? What is the real need? What act of self-care can we give ourselves in that moment? And it could be something really small, like just breathing, just going for a walk, just sitting with tea, just connecting with a friend or someone that we can talk to. What is the real need? Because there's something that wants to be heard. And then we have to really commit to making a different choice, one that feels aligned, one that feels completely on track with where we're heading. Now, in the free challenge we're going to be doing next month, we're going to be going through the different life areas of the wellness tree. So through our emotions, through our nutrition, through the relationships, just all of these different places, spiritual practices, sleep, things like that. And I'm going to show you how to do a soul detox, because everything is energy. Everything is taking up space. And we may not always be aware of that, but it's contributing to us. And so what I do with clients is we do this kind of shedding, this releasing of all that needs to go. We do it in really baby step style, and I'll show you how to start on this. But also linking the branches up with the roots and thinking about, like, why is this important to me? Why do I need to make these changes? And who do I really want to be? Where am I really keeping myself stuck? Where am I not taking action? And how can I go about really making some positive changes, making some commitments, and doing them, really, really just practicing doing these things. So I'm so looking forward to that. There's so much I have to share with you and coming up. So watch this space. Now, if you need any support, if you want any help, there's various different ways you can reach out to me in Messenger. I can send you free resources. I can help you in Messenger to a certain degree. But if you want that deeper support, you want some coaching, or if you're not ready for coaching, but you want something, you want some accountability and some nurturing support and some community, then really consider coming to join the private membership. It's really, really affordable, the Soul Wealth Circle, and we're going to be diving deep into this stuff. So looking forward to it. I will see you next week, and thank you for watching and sending you lots and lots of love. Bye.